Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, the top U.S. envoy to the United Nations, met with South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Tae-yeol in Seoul to discuss alternatives following Russia's veto on renewing the UN expert panel monitoring North Korea sanctions. Thomas Greenfield's visit is part of a 4-day trip to South Korea focusing on cooperation in the UN Security Council. She expressed optimism about the discussions and planned to meet with Defense Minister Shin Won-sik later. Russia's veto threatens the panel's mandate, which expires on April the 30th, potentially weakening international efforts to address North Korea's nuclear and missile threats. In local news, the construction of the Busan Opera House, a landmark in the Busan Northport redevelopment area and a symbol of local cultural and artistic architecture, will resume in May after a year-long redesign process. The Busan Metropolitan City revealed the progress of the redesign of the Opera House facade and announced that construction will resume at the end of this month. The construction is due in completion December 2026. Busan City, together with the Busan Economic Promotion Agency, announced today that they will be promoting the 2024 Open Market Entry Support and Activation Project. Since 2021, Busan City has been supporting the successful entry of local small and medium-sized enterprise products into online markets and enhancing the competitiveness of local companies by discovering outstanding regionally specialized products. The project supports promising local small and medium-sized enterprises by providing support ranging from market research to brand, product, and design planning, and aims to increase product awareness through social networking services or social media marketing, online promotions, and entry into domestic and foreign large-scale online markets. Busan City will hold a Boogie fan event at the Sajik Indoor Gymnasium area on the 20th at 5 p.m. to commemorate the 3rd anniversary of the city's mascot debut. The city has planned various programs with the theme of food trucks representing Busan, including Boogie Michelin and stage performances where citizens can taste representative foods of culinary city of Busan. About 100 Boogie fans who have registered in advance will participate in the event. In international news, senior administration officials have disclosed that the White House has issued a warning to Israel, emphasizing that the United States will not engage in any retaliatory actions against Iran. This cautionary message follows a barrage of over 300 drones and missiles fired at Israel overnight, reportedly in retaliation for an attack on Iran's consulate in Syria on April the 1st. Fortunately, the majority of these weapons were intercepted by Israeli, U.S., and allied defenses before reaching their intended targets. According to officials, President Joe Biden urged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to carefully consider the response to this unprecedented attack, emphasizing strategic deliberation. This incident marks the first direct assault by Iran on Israel. And now taking a quick look at the weather here. It's currently 18 degrees Celsius and raining in the city, expected to last all day. The rain is forecast to stop by midnight and the clouds to dissipate by noon tomorrow. And that'll have to do it for this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to BEFM 부산 영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Coming up next is Steve Hatherly Reboot with Steve Hatherly. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
What you're about to hear is amazing. That's because you're locked in to Busan's #1 English radio station. Whether you're at home, at work, or driving in your car, you will be exposed to radio excellence. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because it starts right now.
Well,
Well, it might not feel like it today, but spring is officially the season. Bye, winter, you shall not be missed. And with that warmer weather comes lots of opportunities to spend time outdoors and enjoy that warm sun outside of today. It's also festival season, and of course, here in Korea, we had the Cherry Blossom Festival. That's super popular with people. But other cultures in other parts of the world, they celebrate the spring season as well. And today on the show, we'll take a look at some of those festivals. It's Monday, April 15th, 2024. I'm Steve Hatherly. This is Steve Hatherly Reboot. Let's go.
Why do all the monsters come out at night?
That was Monsters from All Time Low, Demi Lovato, and Black Bear all together on that track. Black Bear, that's just a verse that comes from Black Bear, who does his own take on an addictive, toxic relationship. It was Andrew Goldstein, who had been working with Black Bear on his new music, who suggested, hey, why don't we bring you on board for this collaboration as well? And when the song reached the top of the alternative airplay chart, it became All Time Low's first ever #1 single on any Billboard chart. That's really cool. And not only that, it stayed at the top for 18 weeks in total. All Time Low and Black Bear, they teamed up with friend of the band, pop singer Demi Lovato, for a new version of that track, and it came out in December, early December of 2020. Fun tune to get us going today. I am live in the studio from Busan on this Monday afternoon. Welcome to the show, everyone. You're tuned in on BEFM 90.5 in Busan, 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jongguan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul on TBS EFM 101.3 and in Gwangju, GFN 98.7. I am your host, Steve Hatherly, and I hope you're having a great Monday so far. It's a little chilly. I felt, I made that opening last night for the show, and then I thought, oh, maybe the timing would have been better for yesterday. Yesterday was stunning. It was gorgeous outside, and Saturday, or am I thinking Saturday? Which day was 24 degrees? Anyway, I went outside. I had my jeans on and a pair of sneakers, and I immediately came back inside and I switched to shorts, and that was the first time this year that I was able to go outside with shorts on. I'd seen other people do it. I just hadn't done it myself yet, and went to get the car washed, which is my favorite springtime activity when the weather is nice and warm. So I hope you were out enjoying the warm temperatures over the weekend too. And I don't know, Napidi, were you out of the house this morning? Did you hear anybody complaining about the traffic this morning? Anybody at the office? Oh my goodness, the traffic this morning. I heard there were a lot of accidents on the roads this morning, and it caused severe traffic delays for a lot of people. So number one, I hope you were not involved in any sort of fender bender today. And number two, I hope you were able to get to where you were going on time. But it was much, much, much worse this morning. You know that feeling, right? You come out of the house in the morning and then you think, what's going on today? So I thought, is it a holiday? Is there a holiday tomorrow? Is this the last day of work for people? But yeah, then I found out when I got here what it was. Always drive safely, especially when it's rainy outside, as it continues to be here in Busan this afternoon. All right, let's talk about YouTube. Go there, youtube.com, and search BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. You can watch our live stream there, and you can do that until the songs start to play. And once they start to play, then you will open up your BEFM app to listen to the music there, or you can listen through FM radio as well. Of course, you can listen to the music through the live stream. It's not a perfect audio product for you at this point, but the team is working on it daily to perfect that for you, hopefully at some point this year. So that's how you can listen to the whole show. We apologize for the inconvenience, but we do appreciate your patience and your understanding while that gets itself sorted out. And again, youtube.com. Search BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. All right, let's talk about what's on the show today. Coming up first in hour number one, as we always do, we will start with Hot Off the Press, where you will hear some trendy music that has been newly released. I've got some information on the artists and on the songs as well. After that, Need to Know Time. Casey will join me in the studio at around 2:30, and Casey will be here to share some under-the-radar news stories from outside the mainstream media, but are still important to us. Always fun and a real learning experience when Casey comes into the studio. After that, he'll stay with me for what remains of the first hour. Then in hour number two for our fun fact of the day. Yeah, it's spring season. It might not feel like it today. In fact, I don't know. The weekend temperatures were so hot, it felt like summertime. Are we skipping spring? Is that the trend these days? It's getting shorter, isn't it? Spring and fall seem to be getting shorter and shorter. But anyway, it is spring, and we will look today for our fun fact of the day at some different spring traditions from around the world. As I mentioned in the opening, and as you very well know, the Cherry Blossom Festival here in Korea is kind of the big event, right? It's the main event of spring. And it's not just Korea that celebrates the season. There are other things from different parts of the world in different cultures, and we'll have a look at some of those today. Then for me, myself, and I will stick with that theme, and we'll go to Thailand. Only on the radio, unfortunately. I'd love to get on a flight with all of you and head over to Thailand for a few days to enjoy the beaches there. But we will learn today about Songkran. It's Thailand's annual festival where they celebrate the season change. And if you've ever experienced it yourself, please do message in and let me know what your experience was like. So for me, myself, and I, that's what we'll do today. We'll dig in deep, a little deeper to one of the festivals in Thailand, and we'll learn what that's all about, too. After that, we'll move on to Perfect Playlist, where I have the best songs for every situation. It's Monday. That means we'll have a new theme this week. We'll find out what that is in the second hour. And then, of course, I'll check your messages throughout the program as well. All right, so my question for you today, spring related. What is your favorite springtime activity? Oh, I mentioned it already. Taking the car to the secha, self secha, and taking my time. You know, a lot of people really hate washing the car. They really do not enjoy it, right? It's a very laborious type of task for most people. But for me, yeah, just, you get your little card, you get your car wash card, that's sitting in my wallet right now. You put 10,000 won on the card, and then you go to the little machine, and beep, beep, and then the hose, the power washing hose. Oh, that's fun. And then step 2, the soap. Oh, that's fun too. I don't know which is more fun, the power washing one or the soap one. And then, of course, you go back to the power washing one and wash all the soap off the car. That's really fun for me. But that's only the first part. Then you drive your car about 10 feet, 20 feet ahead, and that's where you do all your vacuuming and throw all the stuff out. And when the weather is good, I take my time. I enjoy it. I've got my headphones in. I'm listening to music or to a podcast, and I just kind of make an event out of it. So for me, one of my favorite springtime activities is washing the car, and that's my question for you today. What is one of your favorite springtime activities? 봄에 가장 좋아하는 운동은 무엇인가요? Think about that and then text me your answers. Pounder sharp 9050 for 100 won. Add us on Kakao Talk for free and send messages for free by searching BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores. You can listen to our programs there and leave us a comment after logging in. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will have time for today's Hot Off the Press. Here is Bella X, Cloud 9.
Push me over cloud 9 for a minute.
That was Bella X with Cloud 9, and now it's time for today's Hot Off the Press, where from Monday to Friday we bring you two of the newest, hottest tracks from the world of music, and a lot of songs get released every week. We know that, but we also know that we choose a couple each day in the hopes that you'll enjoy them. We'll start today with Dua Lipa. She's got a new one out, and it's called Illusion. This single is from the upcoming album called Radical Optimism. It's out on May 3rd, and she said this of the track: it's about knowing what you're getting yourself into, but staying just for the heck of it. The joke's on them. It's the fun of playing someone at their own game, because ultimately you won't fall for an Illusion, hence the title of the song. After that, another new one from Zayn. This is called Alienated. Zayn Malik has shared this deeply honest single. The former One Direction star, his fourth solo LP, Room Under the Stairs, is set to be his most personal yet. And following the lead single, What I Am, he is equally as forthcoming on this latest track. He said, I wanted each song to feel as if it was just me sitting beside you, telling you how I feel, singing directly to you. That would be interesting. It's raw and stripped back and the type of music I always hope to make. Here we go with our two tracks for Hot Off the Press today. Brand new from Dua Lipa, it's called Illusion, and then new from Zayn, Alienated. Those were our two tracks for Hot Off the Press today. New from Zayn called Alienated, and before that, the new one from Dua Lipa called Illusion. That's how I like to say that word. It sounds magical, doesn't it? My question for you today, what is your favorite springtime activity? 봄에 가장 좋아하는 운동은 무엇인가요? Gave you my answer. I enjoy a good car wash in the springtime. How about you? Andy's listening today. Andy says, my favorite springtime activity is taking my son to the Han River Park on Saturday mornings. My wife and I, we grab some donuts and coffee, and we just watch him run around like a headless chicken, and it is priceless. Yeah, that's the energy burn, huh? Take him to the park and just watch him enjoy it. Yeah, the cool thing about the Han River area is that there's plenty of spaces that are really busy, and crowded with people. But because the parks it's so long, of course, the Han River, so you can find an area that has a lot of grassy spots where there aren't too many people. I would recommend, Andy, if you're looking for a new spot like that, I don't know where you live in the city, but I would recommend the Icheon area, Icheondong. That's on the northern side, just past Yongsan, right? There's some great grassy spots there with some trees, and not too many people hang out there, depending on what you're looking for, of course. Yeah, creating memories both for you and for your wife and for your little one too. The family trip to the park for sure. MJ says, growing various plants brings me great pleasure. So in the springtime, I'm interested in plant cultivation. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't have an opportunity to do it just yet. I talk about it all the time. In fact, my wife and I were watching a movie or a drama or something over the weekend, and there was a greenhouse. They were making a greenhouse, and I said, that's my dream, right? She's like, yep, because she told me about 10,000 times. So it's always at the forefront of my mind. I do. I love plants, MJ, and I like the idea of taking care of a living little plant in your house or outside. It's a cool idea. I saw my neighbor got a new plant. Do you ever have mini criminal thoughts? Do you know what I mean? It's not something you would follow through on. It's just a random thought that goes into your head. So my neighbors, they live on the same floor. They are delightful people, by the way. They got a beautiful plant delivered to their house this morning, and they didn't see it yet. So when I came out, I saw it, and I was like, ooh. And the first thing that went through my head was, I wonder if I could take that and nobody would know. Of course, I would never do that. Not in a million years. It's just, random thoughts go through your head. So I guess I was a little bit jealous. You know what I'm talking about. Don't sit there and pretend like you don't know. You have those types of thoughts too. Thanks for the messages. Keep them coming in. Oh, let's do one more. Silly says, regardless of winter, spring, summer, or fall, hashtag James Taylor. My favorite activity is, of course, listening to and watching I Am Steve and all his guests. That would be me and the guests on the show. Thanks, Silly. That's a nice compliment to get on a Monday. Think about your answers and then let me know. 봄에 가장 좋아하는 운동은 무엇인가요? Text me #sharp 9050 for 101. Add us on Kakao Talk for free and send messages for free by searching BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores. You can listen to our programs there and leave us a comment after logging in. Monday afternoon, and Casey's here. How you doing, Casey?
Good. I was just enjoying that background music. My theme song.
Yeah,
it gets me pumped up.
You need to just have that on your phone and just everywhere you go.
When I walk into a room.
Oh, no, when you go into Bucks and order your latte, just have that playing on in the background.
He's here. He's here.
Do you agree with me? Does every person on the planet not have these little innocent criminal thoughts every once in a while? Things that they would never, ever, ever do, nor dream of doing. It's just the thought pops into your head from time to time?
Sure. And somebody actually acted on, they had the same thought you had. When I used to own a jutek, so I had a garden outside. And I had a couple potted plants I kept outside our gate. And somebody had the same thought you had and actually did it. I had a rose plant and they took it out.
Oops.
They removed it from the pot.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They left the pot and just took the flower?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I hope they got the I hope they got pricked a little bit there.
Hopefully,
Somebody took it.
hopefully karma found them in the end. Yeah, following through on those things.
Don't follow through.
That's a whole different matter. That's what jail's for.
That's right.
People who decide to do that.
Right.
What about your favorite springtime activity?
Well, yeah, I actually wasn't even thinking about it until the listener mentioned, plants in the springtime, and I was like, oh yeah, that's
MJM.
totally. Yeah, I've been doing that myself. I've got this cherry sage plant that's like blossoming, and it's beautiful, smells good. I cut it up, threw it in a lamb steak yesterday.
Lovely.
Yeah, I was like, well, you can eat this? Sure.
Have you seen those little machines at the mart? I've only seen them maybe 3 or 4 times. It looks like some sort of an incubation machine. And it's got very bright lights inside, and you can grow your own plants. You can grow your own garden, but it's for indoors.
Oh, okay. So it's like a starter.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think you grow the plants to their
full size?
to their fullest. I mean,
Oh, for real?
they're not plants that would grow that big.
Right. Maybe there's like a little succulents or whatever they call those.
Yeah, it was lettuce, I think, was the example in the store.
For real?
And it said in a month you can grow this much, and then you can eat it right away.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. But
That's really cool.
But it wasn't. It was enough for a salad, basically. Is what they were saying. So I said to myself, I got to wait a month for a salad.
It's a good way to limit what you eat, I guess.
Yeah. If you're on a diet, that's
Right.
true.
I had my salad this month.
It's good to see you, Casey. All right, let's dive in. It's time for Need to Know, and you've got some under the radar news stories for us. What are we talking about today?
Actually, I was thinking about this one when I read this because I remember you and I think it was even off the air, we were talking about it, the idea of getting corrective eye surgery. And I was telling you that a friend of mine had it, and, we were talking about wearing glasses and all that. And I was like, man, I hope, I'm knock on wood here, my eyesight has always been like perfect, and I can't even think about like having to wear glasses someday or my vision deteriorating.
See, I'm the opposite.
That's right.
You have 20/20 vision?
Yeah, always have.
Really? I can't even wrap my brain around what that must feel like.
It's great.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, no, I can imagine it is, but I'm on the other end of that spectrum. My eyesight is terrible. -7.
Wow, okay.
Both eyes. So if my contacts aren't in, I can't see very well.
So you're wearing them right now?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could never tell. So glasses are not for you?
They're not. I think I have a pair of glasses at home, but I don't know where they are.
I got you. They're not what you want to wear, right? They're cumbersome and...
Yeah, and then it's just a weird feeling when you're not used to wearing them, right?
Right.
And I've thought numerous times about LASIK or LASIK. And then I heard, you have to get it done by the time you're 50.
Okay.
That's third-party information from a friend of mine who went to see the eye doctor, and that's what they told them. If you're going to do that procedure, do it by then. So, yeah, this topic is always kind of on my mind somehow, some way.
Well, I've got good news for you. The fact that you're wearing contact lenses probably means you make more money than you would otherwise.
Huh?
That's pretty cool, right?
People who wear glasses don't make as much money.
Make more.
Oh, make
so
more.
if you typically
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's a study that just came out last week, I believe, and this article comes from NPR, so it's a good source. The headline is "Glasses aren't just good for your eyes; they can be a boon to income too." And so that caught my eye, and I was like, no pun intended, I promise. So I saw that, and I was like, okay, I'm curious. So the idea is basically if you do have some kind of vision correction, whether you wear contact lenses or whether it's glasses, you're probably going to make more money than you would without them. And I was like, okay. So the way they explained this story was they introduced a woman who's named Jasmine Atker. She's 42 and she's a grandmother. That already blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute, I'm older than her and she's a grandmother already? So she lives in Bangladesh. She lives on a small family farm. And originally they were just producing milk there with cattle. And then she got glasses through a nonprofit group in 2022. And she says, okay, she got her vision was improved. She was able to set up a vegetable patch. She learned how to grow mushrooms. Now, in addition to the cattle farm, she sells mushrooms, pumpkins, watermelon, spinach at the local market.
Okay.
And she estimates that her monthly income has jumped from 9,000 to 10,000 Bangladeshi taka to closer to 15,000, 17,000 taka per month. And, okay, so what does that mean? That's the equivalent of about $150, but that's a dramatic increase.
That is a dramatic increase, but I still struggle to see the connection between getting glasses and growing mushrooms, pumpkin, watermelon, and spinach.
Good. It's a very good question. This is why I had to read this article. I said, okay. So basically what she said is before, when she tried to cut vegetables and she wanted to check if there's insects or anything like that, she couldn't see well. So after she got the glasses, the average time that it took her to do every task was significantly reduced. She can do more work, and now she has this sense of independence. So according to a study that's about her and other people in Bangladesh, this is actually a common situation. And now for the first time, researchers have actually been able to link having glasses and a dramatic increase in income.
It makes sense because if your vision is quite bad,
Right.
I mentioned that my eyes are -7. If I didn't have the assistance of contact lenses, then I wouldn't be able to do this job.
Right.
Right? Because we have a script.
That's right.
So I wouldn't be able to do that. There are plenty of other things I wouldn't be able to do as well, but just thinking about the correlation between income and being able to see well, the more you think about it, the more it does make sense.
Yeah, and it's something I think a lot of us take for granted because if we think about the situation here in Korea, it's very easy to go to any store on the corner and get a pair of glasses, right?
Yeah, it's very easy in a country like this to be able to correct your vision should it need correcting, but that's not true for everyone.
It's not true for a lot of places in the world still. So they went to Bangladesh in specific for this study. They went to 56 villages around the country, and they found over 800 farsighted adults ages 35 to 65. And so what they did was half of them they randomly selected to give glasses, and then the other half got glasses after an eight-month period so they could compare.
Seems a bit mean, though.
I
doesn't
know.
it?
I know.
Wait, am I getting that? No.
No, hold on. Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
We want to see how difficult your life is first.
And it turns out it's pretty difficult because
of course.
a lot of the people that actually after they got, and they just gave them reading glasses, by the way. They didn't give them any kind of advanced lenses where, you need very specific lengths or, adjustments or whatever thicknesses. You can tell I don't wear glasses. So what they found, though, in that time, the income grew by 33% for those who had glasses, for example, from a median monthly income of $35 to $47. And then people who are not working at all, once they got reading glasses, they were actually able to start working. And that's going from zero to whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge increase.
When you mentioned, the connection between wearing glasses and making more money, I was thinking this was some study that was conducted in the West where you looked more intelligent, right. Therefore you had a better chance at job opportunities and blah, 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 blah.
I thought the same when I saw the headline.
This is not what we're talking about at all. This is just basically having the ability to use your eyes as they were intended to be used.
Exactly.
And this is allowing people to live life the way that they want to live it, and therefore that means more money for them through their work as well. Wow.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean this is great news, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then, what's the plan for the future? Are they going to be rolling these out large scale for people? It's just reading glasses you mentioned, right?
This is the part that I didn't know. A lot of countries like Bangladesh, where it's hard to get reading glasses because people are either living far outside of cities or don't have access to doctors. There's also a lot of government control over glasses, even reading glasses, which reading glasses typically, I didn't know this, by the way, but reading glasses only typically come in like a few sizes.
Okay.
So they compared it to like when you get reading glasses, it's like buying a suit off the rack. There's like a small, medium, large, right?
Okay.
It's not tailor fit to you.
Why government control?
That's the good question. So one of the guys behind the study, his name is Nathan Congdon at the Queen's University Belfast. He said he kind of blames it on his own profession. He's an ophthalmologist, and he says he thinks they're kind of poorly informing governments of how much they need to control this. They should let go of that control and, in fact, get these kinds of reading glasses to as many people as who need them. And that will, not only be good for the people in the communities, but for the communities as well. That'll be more people working, making things, producing things, more income to spend. So yeah, it's kind of just a poor advisement to the government, it sounds like.
But the good news is now that they have the proof, right? They have the proof that they can show governments, so therefore it'll make it difficult for governments to say, no, there's no reason to be doing this.
Right.
Interesting story to get us started today with Casey in Need to Know. And we've got one more on the way after this one. This is Robin Schultz, Smash My Heart.
When you say you want me, I just lose.
That was Robin Schultz with Smash My Heart. And today with Casey in Need to Know, we talked about the importance of eyeglasses in many parts of the world and how big a difference it can make, not just, for your vision, but for your income as well. Before we get to our second story, I wanted to let you know, I don't know if you'll take this as a compliment or not, Casey, but your segment does have an incredible impact on me. I was at the grocery store on the weekend. And I saw some salmon.
I knew it.
And I thought, oh, that looks delicious. How about that for Oh no! And then I remembered what Casey told me, and I was gonna text. I was gonna text you immediately and take a picture of the salmon and say, yeah, this is what I was going to have. But
Sorry.
I didn't. I couldn't order it. This is in reference to Casey's last segment where he talked about worms and salmon and things like that.
And you know what I ate on Saturday? On Saturday, I went to a friend's wedding. I ate salmon.
Did you?
But it was frozen. It was smoked salmon that was frozen. So I sat there for a second, and I was like, all right, if it's frozen, they're dead. And I ate it.
Goodness me. All right, let's get back on topic. Next story.
Yes. So personal question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you prefer a bath or a shower?
Ooh, okay. If I have a nice chilled glass of Pinot Gris and a good Aaron Sorkin drama, I'm all for a bath. But that's a special occasion or when I'm feeling a little fancy,
Right.
But if it's just every day, shower for sure. I don't enjoy the concept of a bath. It's a bit weird to me to be sitting and kind of wallowing in your own filth.
Oh, can you explain that further? Is that something like you feel you were taught, or you just came to that conclusion by yourself?
It's just the concept.
Yeah.
A bath it's like a puddle, right?
Yeah.
Which is a stagnant body of water.
Yep.
And in stagnant bodies of water, they are breeding grounds for bacteria.
Right.
And therefore, if I'm in there and the soap is doing its job and removing the dirt from my body, then from what I've learned about soap, the soap surrounds the dirt molecules and separates it from the body or the clothing, but it's still in there with you. So this is... I think too much about things sometimes.
No, you're not. No, you're not alone.
Shower. That's my answer. Shower.
No, you're not alone. The details you just jumped right into, I didn't even include that on here. This is a fascinating article from National Geographic. The title is "We Swapped Baths for Showers, which one is better for you?" But they talk about I really enjoy reading about human history. And they kind of go over a lot of the details about how communal bathing was a thing in a lot of cultures. And at some point in kind of more modern human history, a lot of people started having the same feeling you did when people started understanding the concept of germs. So this is kind of what got rid of communal baths in a lot of societies, because people were like, oh, yeah, right, we're going to be sitting in that with other people?
And if it's communal, then you're multiplying whatever you thought by however many people are in that tub with you. It's just it's a strange thing to me.
But as the article points out, if you think about human history, the shower is a very new idea.
How long ago was it invented?
They mentioned, I think I didn't include that as well. They did mention, I want to say the late 1800s, Industrial Revolution times. So what happened was people were they started building these big buildings for people who were poor laborers, basically, right?
Okay.
And they didn't want to have communal baths in that situation because it was an easy way to spread disease. People were understanding what germs and all that stuff is. So they started something called, I think they call them rain showers. So they
1767, I've just looked it up. Yeah.
There you go.
The first patent for a shower was granted to William Feetham, a stove maker from Ludgate Hill in London.
There you go.
Yeah. And and by the way, I'm looking at images of the design from 1767. It doesn't really look any different from the showers that we use today.
Yeah, the only difference was the water was stored overhead and so often collected rainwater. And so they were all right, this is a cheap, easy way to do it. We don't need all this pipe and tubs and all this, these big systems. And it was also, especially in low income areas where they're you don't have time for a bath, get in the shower. It was a lot of social economic implications in that.
So which one is better though?
Okay, so in your opinion, the bath is disgusting, and I'm the same way. I don't like sitting in the bath.
Yeah.
But
it's boring too. You're just sitting there.
Right, unless you got an Aaron Sorkin drama and a glass of something to enjoy.
Exactly.
But okay, from this article, this is not my opinion. From a sanitation perspective, there's little research about whether showering or bathing is preferred. According to Kelly Reynolds at the University of Arizona, given a clean water source, both are effective for personal hygiene, and quote unquote, it really seems to be a matter of personal choice.
Okay.
According to somebody at James Hamblin at Yale University, he said that much like the gut microbiome that we hear so much about these days, the skin biome has thousands of species of microbes that live on your skin, support skin health. Both bathing and showers can strip this biome or damage our skin if the water's too hot, if you use too much soap, or if you scrub too vigorously. So I was after I read that, I was I think I'm not washing properly.
Oh, yeah. Well, gosh. I mean, I guess people don't even think about that, the right way to shower. When we're kids, we learn about the right way to brush our teeth,
right,
for example, but we don't learn the right way to shower.
No. And I think this is something we should all learn. After reading this article, I was oh, really? They said, basically, again, this is from another professional. This is a dermatologist named Amy Huang. She's in New York, and she says the ideal regimen is basically a gentle soap, no fragrance, no dyes, and ideally non-sudsing. That is contrary to what I believed. I thought you needed the bubbles.
Yeah, because I thought what the bubbles did was surround the dirt molecules, and that's what separates them from what they were attached to.
And I guess that's the key. You're going to separate too much at that point. So I guess that's what they're trying to say is like, like if you take antibiotics, it kills everything in your gut, right? So it kills the good bacteria along with the bad. And I guess if you scrub too hard or use like really strong soaps, you're getting rid of the good things living on your skin as well. You're wiping everything out.
So we're supposed to be using a non-sudsing soap?
That's what she says. And if she's a dermatologist, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She also says you don't even need to scrub everywhere. Focus on your armpits, your special places, the feet, and the scalp if you're washing your hair. And I was like, oh, wow. So like kind of like largely avoid your body.
This seems like a very strange thing to say to people, doesn't it?
And as a dermatologist, right?
Who's going to do that? Who's going to get in the shower and only wash their armpits and their feet?
I'm going to try it today. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Conduct your own experiment. I think I'll stick with what I've been doing. I guess it's just, we're not really doing too much damage by showering the incorrect way, using a lot of soaps, heavy, sudsy soaps and things like that. It's just, it's not necessary. I guess that's the point she's making.
Yeah, it's kind of doing, they didn't say damage. What did they say? They said basically that if you do that, it's basically not the best for your skin. So in other words, like you could treat your skin a lot better than just harsh detergents and scrubbing. They said also somebody at the UC San Francisco, Katrina Abuabara, she said don't use loofahs and don't use washcloths because this can damage. It can damage the skin barrier, and washing with your hands is sufficient. So there you go.
Okay. So you don't need to have one of those harsh
sponge. What do you call those things? Shower balls.
Yeah, or the glove.
The glove. Oh man, the torture. And that's a big thing in Korean saunas. Is they'll scrub the skin off.
I've seen it in action.
Have you done it?
No. It looks like you're being punished for something.
It turns out it is. You're punishing your skin.
Oh, you've done it before?
No, I couldn't handle that.
Would you?
No, I'm too sensitive. But I did when I lived in Eastern Europe. My host father, during the winter, he had like a Russian sauna, and he hit me with branches of some tree. That was one of the most bizarre things I've ever done with another man in a sauna. It was what they do.
I've seen that in like Roman times.
Yeah, right. This goes back to long ago traditions. He was like, he hit me with this branches of a tree, and I was like, oh, thank you. And then he's like, all right, your turn. You hit me. I was like, yes, sir. It was very strange.
What a cool cultural experience, though.
It was something.
Just before we finish, Ben says, since Monday of last week around 2:55 p.m., none of my family members eat raw fish anymore.
I apologize, but I feel like I have to tell people. I'm doing it to myself, too. Trust me.
Ruining people's lives one segment at a time.
Oopsie. Enjoy your shower today.
Yeah, right, and your salmon.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, friend. Fun as always. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Stay with me for hour number 2. Max wraps up the first today. Love never felt like this.
BEFM 부산 영어방송.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
부산 글로벌 도시재단 대표이사 전용호입니다. 부산은 물류, 금융, 영상, 관광, 첨단 산업 등 핵심 분야에서 또 한 번의 도약을 준비하고 있습니다. 글로벌 허브 도시 부산의 비전은 부산을 넘어 대한민국의 균형 발전을 촉진할 새로운 계기가 될 것입니다. 부산 글로벌 도시재단은 세계 시민을 연결하는 네트워크로 도시 외교의 중추적 역할을 담당하고 글로벌 부산의 미디어 플랫폼인 부산 영어방송을 통해 영어하기 편한 도시 부산을 만들고 있습니다. 글로벌 허브 도시 부산, 그 중심에 부산 글로벌 도시재단이 있습니다.
Busan Global City Foundation leads the Global Hub City Busan.
보이스피싱 전화 올 땐 전화 끊고 확인하기. 택배 주소 오류 사기, 인터넷 주소 클릭 안 돼.
늘 의심하고 꼭 전화 끊고 또 확인하고
보이스피싱에 눈을 뜨며
예방책이 보입니다.
공익광고협의회.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
You're listening to Steve Hatherly Reboot on BEFM 90.5. quite a dramatic end to that song. That was Jack's Mannequin with Dark Blue, formerly known as the frontman for a West Coast punk pop quintet that garnered a modest following during the early 2000s. Andrew McMahon is also the piano-playing songwriter behind Jack's Mannequin. McMahon began work on the collective's debut following his hiatus in 2004, and the resulting Everything in Transit, which was a sunny pop rock concept album exploring his alienating return to the hometown that he left to pursue his music. That came out in 2005 to a positive critical response. Jack's Mannequin. You don't hear a whole lot about the group, but he makes some pretty good music. And if you dig through the discography, you'll find some good stuff there. That one got us into the second hour of Steve Hatherly Reboot on this Monday afternoon. Thank you very much for staying with me for this second hour. You're tuned in on BEFM 90.5 in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Zhongguan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul on TBS EFM 101.3 and in Gwangju on GFN 98.7. Again, thank you so much for staying with me for this second hour. Interesting topic today with Casey. Topics today with Casey, right? Particularly the second one, shower versus bath. I'm more of a shower guy than a bath guy. And then he was talking about, the efficient ways to wash yourself. Experts say it's only necessary in the armpits and feet and certain specific spots on your body. And 6391 said, yeah, actually, I do that. Just that, the armpits, the feet, and other spots too. I guess our bodies are kind of designed to stay clean with a little effort, right? It's just that marketing is such a powerful thing, isn't it? And we see these advertisements for soaps and oils and different things, creams and lotions and all that stuff. Not that it's bad for us, but it's probably money that we don't necessarily need to be spending on products that we don't necessarily need to be buying. And I say that because my sister used to work for a skincare company. And she told me, and I'm not saying this is true for every skincare company. I'm not saying that. I'm just repeating what she told me. She told me that there's products where they'll have like the women's one, like a cream, right? The women's one and the men's one. And she told me, that's exactly the same product. It's just they put it in different bottles with different labels, but it's exactly the same thing. There's no difference between the men's version and the women's version. And I said, oh, really? And after that, every time I go to like Young or whatever, and I see like the men's this for men, I'm always so speculative now. I have all these conspiracy theories about men's lotions that they don't even really exist. We're just tricked into buying them. But again, she wasn't commenting on the entire skincare industry. She just said that particular one of their company, and I won't tell you which company she worked for either. But yeah, see, it's true. Marketing, the power of marketing, it makes us believe certain things. And I think we want to believe it, right? We want to treat ourselves, particularly with that type of thing. Oh, that's my favorite store. I can't say the name of it, but the first letter is L, and it's a soap shop. And you can find them all over the place here in Korea. Oh, I could spend hours in there. I could live in there, I think. I've always secretly wanted to work there. Just part-time. I feel like it's a really happy place to be. Every time you go in there, everybody seems like they're in a really good mood, doesn't it? It feels like they want to be there, shoppers and employees alike. I like that place. All right, let's get into hour number 2. What's going on in this second hour? For our fun fact of the day, we'll talk about some spring traditions from around the world. We have the Cherry Blossom Festival here in Korea, but other cultures and other countries celebrate in their own ways. We'll have a look at some of those. And we'll do that, too, with Me, Myself, and I. Water fights, cultural traditions, and new beginnings. Songkran is the name of it, and it is Thailand's annual New Year festival, spring festival, and it looks like a really good time, as a matter of fact. So we'll talk about that. We'll dig in a little bit deeper through Me, Myself, and I. Spring, spring, spring. That's the topic today. I don't know. I can't see out the window here. Did it stop raining in Busan? Anybody know? Hopefully it didn't, and it was cold outside earlier today as well. Hopefully it'll return to sunny conditions soon, although I think I checked the weather app, said it's going to rain tomorrow as well. Anyway, question of the day today, since we're talking spring, what is your favorite springtime activity? 봄에 가장 좋아하는 운동은 무엇인가요? Let's see what you have to say about that. 1656 says, a good exercise to do in the spring is walking. Yeah, it's a lovely time of year to go for a walk. Because we've been cooped up all winter time, right? And even if you do go for a walk in the winter, it doesn't feel the same as when the sun is nice and warm outside. So yeah, it's a good activity for the springtime. 1656 also says, I like the pull-up bars. And when I grab my hands and I jump up with my feet and I hang my back on the bars, my brain clears up. Like putting your knees, wrapping your knees around the bar and then letting your head hang down low. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun to do on those bars. Those little things that you see in the park, right? Where the self-exercise machines are there. Yeah, those are fun. Claire says, yes, Steve, it is raining outside. And it's amazing to see all the different flowers in spring. Yeah, there's something more romantic about spring rain than there is about winter rain. That's for sure. If it's warmer, then it feels great. If it's colder, then it doesn't feel so good. NIPD has the cameras up here in the studio. Where did you get access to those camera feeds? Oh, you can just click on different parts of the map and see the live camera feeds from different parts of the highway. That's cool. That's good to know. Do we have a camera on the top of the building here? No, we don't. That wouldn't be useful anyway. I was just thinking where this building is located. It's on a side street where there's no traffic. It would be completely pointless. Yeah, I didn't know that. You could look at the map cameras, though. That's pretty cool. Check out different spots of the city. Let's see. Where are we? Let me know your answers to this question. Your favorite springtime activity. 봄에 가장 좋아하는 운동은 무엇인가요? We do have some more answers, but I will save them until a little bit later on in the show. Text me, ## 9050. That will cost you 101. Add us on Kakao Talk for free. Send messages for free by searching BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores. You can listen to our programs there and leave us a comment after logging in. All right, let's get to our expression for today. Ooh, this is quite a good one today, both in Korean and in English, I would say. This is from King the Land, and I'm cruising through episode 14. I think I'm almost done with episode 14 now. And in this particular scene, one of the hotel employees is talking about the other hotel employees, saying that they can never really learn, even though they continue to try and continue to practice. That is my loose translation for this. Let's hear the sentence in Korean.
하여간 요령들이 없어.
하여간 요령들이 없어. Now, this is quite a difficult-looking sentence, isn't it? 하여간. 하여간 means anyway or whatever. Now, I was saying to NAPD, I rarely hear people say 하여간. I hear people say like 어쨌든, to say anyway a lot. That's a common way to say anyway or like whatever. But I rarely hear 하여간. Is it common, would you say, NAPD, for people to use this expression, 하여간? Yeah, he says it's common. I guess it's just me. I've very rarely heard it used in conversation. But to be fair, maybe that's because I didn't recognize it, right? If you don't know what it means, then you're not going to pay attention to it. Anyway, so that could be helpful to your Korean today. 하여간 means like anyway or whatever. And then she says, 요령들이 없어. Okay, so let's talk about this. 요령 is the ability to learn something by repetition, practice, or the when you keep trying. And when I say it in English, then it might help you understand it a little bit better. This is the translation. They never get the hang of it. to get the hang of something is 요령. So you keep doing it, you keep practicing, you keep trying, and then finally, 요령 있어. That's the result. That's when you get the hang of something. So here's an example. I get a new computer, okay, at the office, but it's a different company. So I don't really know how to use this. So in the beginning, I feel a little bit frustrated. Why? Because 요령이 없어. I can't get the hang of it. But then a little bit later, then 요령이 있어. 요령이 있네. So Steve, how's it going with the new computer? 뭐 처음에 썼을 때 뭐 좀 어렵지만 이제 뭐 좀 요령이 있어. That means like I'm getting the hang of it. I know how to do it now. This is quite useful, right? Let's use another example in English for getting the hang of something. It can be something like a computer. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. It can be like it can be a hobby. It can be like snowboarding, for example. If you go snowboarding for the very first time and you try it out, well, it's going to be difficult, right? But then a little bit later, if you keep practicing, then you will get the hang of it. And in that moment, when you feel like, okay, all right, I'm learning a little now. Okay, this is better than before. And somebody asks you, how's snowboarding? You can say, I think I'm getting the hang of it. Or, in the beginning, it was really tough, but a little later, I got the hang of it. Meaning my skill improved because of my practice and because of my continued effort. Good expressions, right? In English and in Korean, I think. In English, the translation said, they never get the hang of it. And in Korean, she says, 하여간 요령들이 없어.
하여간 요령들이 없어.
Hopefully that helps out your Korean or your English, depending on which one you are learning, if not both. Get the hang of something just quickly before I move on. You can also say, like, to learn the ropes. That's a little bit different, but still somehow similar. I think with that one, you can use that one if you start like a new job and you're learning about the office culture and you're learning about like where's the water machine and where's the bathroom and where's the best place to park. That's learning the ropes, we say, learning the ropes a little bit, becoming more familiar with something similar, but a little bit different at the same time. Anyway, all right, there's your expression for today. Again, I hope that helps out your language skills. We'll take a break and we'll be back with our fun fact of the day. Here is Connie, Tell Me. That was Connie with Tell Me, and now it's time for our fun fact of the day. And because it is springtime here in Korea, it is also springtime in many other places around the world. And because we have springtime activities here in Korea, well, of course, then they have springtime activities in other parts of the world. So let's take a tour at different parts of the map, and we'll stop in briefly and see if we can learn a little bit of culture. Let's start with this one, since this festival also took place here in Busan over the weekend. It's called the Holy High Festival, and it is undoubtedly one of the most colorful festivals in the world. So Holi is celebrated by Hindus across northern India, and the festival involves throwing colored powder at one another, which pays tribute to the many hues of the spring season as well as events from Hindu mythology. It took place here in Busan on Nami Island on Saturday afternoon, I believe, and it looked like from the website page that it was a good time. Oh, it wasn't in Busan. It was in Chuncheon. Not here in Busan. Yeah, I was thinking maybe there's two Nami Islands. Yeah, Nami Island. If you haven't been to Chuncheon's Nami Island, that's a great place to go. Yeah, so they did this one here in Korea, and it's usually a pretty big deal from what I could tell from the social media posts. It usually lasts a full day and a full night, and the festival is gloriously colorful, as you can imagine, and it's a happy celebration of the end of winter and the spring growing season. It can, however, get a little bit intense, I guess, with people throwing powder at each other. So do your homework, they say, before you go. Let's go to England for this next one. Have you heard of Cooper's Hill Cheese Rolling and Wake in Gloucester, England? Every year during the second bank holiday weekend, the Gloucester Cheese Rolling takes place on Cooper's Hill. Located just an hour by car from the town of Bristol, the innocuous-sounding event is, in fact, a lot more dangerous, actually, than the name would lead you to believe. A wheel of cheese is thrown down a very steep hill, and 1 second later, competitors throw themselves down after it. The first one to cross the finish line wins. Bruises, bloodied knees, broken bones. Those are not uncommon side effects during this intense tradition, but it continues to take place. It's a slightly rougher way to welcome spring, but it's been around for a long time. It's a 200-year-old tradition, and it is proudly upheld by the community, attracting both old and new competitors every single year. You can watch videos online of people trying to run down the hill, chasing the cheese, so to speak. Well, literally, I suppose. And it does. It looks really dangerous because it's a seriously steep hill and people do get hurt. Let's go to Bosnia for our next one. Okay, let me try to pronounce this. Simberijada. It translates to Festival of Scrambled Eggs, and it celebrates the first day of spring in the Bosnian town of Zenica. At the crack of dawn, people gather by the banks of the river, the local Bosna River, where a communal meal of scrambled eggs is prepared. Together, people share their breakfast eggs with friends and families and visitors while drinking and listening to music together to mark the first day of spring. It's kind of cool. They go out and have like a community breakfast together out next to the river, which is kind of fun, I think, right? Australia. We'll go to Australia for this next one. Floriade. Am I saying that correctly? It first began in 1988 when parks manager Peter Sutton and landscape designer Chris Slopemaker de Bruyn conceptualized a proposal for a grand floral display in celebration of Australia's bicentenary and Canberra's 75th birthday. The result was a beautiful exotic floral display, which was so wholeheartedly embraced by the local community that it became an annual celebration of spring in the country. Each year, hundreds of thousands of people travel from neighboring Sydney and Brisbane to see more than 1 million flowers bloom in this month-long festival of color, music, and horticulture as well. That sounds stunning. I'm not the biggest flower guy in the world, but I think if you put 1 million flowers on display, well, that's going to warm anyone's heart, I would say, right? One more? Do you want to do one more? We know about this one, right? The Easter egg roll in America at the White House. Are you familiar with this? They say that it started in the year 1814 when the White House Easter egg roll took place for the very first time. And now it's done on Easter Monday of every year. And for the fun tradition, kids gather in Washington, D.C. on the White House lawn to roll eggs across the grass with wooden spoons, competing to see who can cross the finish line first. Kids taking part in the competition can win Easter eggs and little small prizes. So with the promise of sweet treats fresh in their minds, morale usually sky high. The kids get really excited, right? The festivities are overlooked by the U.S. president and their family, and they always have a giant Easter bunny there, apparently, as well, with everyone in good spirits and really colorful decorations peeking out of every corner. It's kind of a White House annual highlight. The Easter egg roll started back in 1814. Okay, so those are a few of the springtime festivals that take place in different parts of the world. We'll take a break and come back, and we'll dive deep into one more. We'll go to Thailand for that one. Here is Games We Play, Typical Me.
Here I go again. typical me. That's just so typical me.
That was Games We Play with Typical Me, and now it's time for Me, Myself, and I. It's a segment where we look at human behavior and think about why we do the things we do. And under this theme of springtime festivals today in the second hour, we go to Thailand. And this sounds like a whole lot of fun. On the surface, Thailand's annual Songkran festival appears to be one big water fight, a giant water fight. Every April, young people and old people take to the streets all over the country armed with plastic guns and water buckets and engage in hours-long battle from morning until dusk. How fun. And while that's certainly the most famous aspect of the celebration, Songkran is filled with unique cultural traditions as well, making it an excellent time of year for travelers to visit the country. And it happens now. In fact, today, I believe, will be the final day. Songkran marks the start of the traditional Thai New Year and is usually celebrated from April 13th to the 15th, though some cities stretch out the fun for a few extra days. Taking place at the height of Thai summer, it's a time to take a break from work and hit the road, with many people journeying hundreds of kilometers to their hometowns to reconnect with family and friends. The word itself, Songkran, is said to have derived from ancient Sanskrit, used to describe the monthly movement within the zodiac. In 2023, UNESCO added Songkran to its Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list, noting that it refers to the sun's annual passing into the Aries constellation, the first sign of the zodiac, which marks the traditional start of the traditional Thai New Year's festival. Pretty fun, right? Pouring water is a significant act during Songkran, symbolizing cleansing, reverence, and good fortune. That's according to the UNESCO inscription. Other activities include bathing, important Buddha images, splashing water on family and friends, folk plays and games and music, and of course feasting as well. Well, it is the splashing that has turned Songkran into a global sensation in recent decades, with huge water fights held on closed city streets everywhere from Khao San Road and Silom Road in Bangkok to Chiang Mai's historic old city. This sounds like so much fun. I've never been to this festival before, but it sounds like a really great time. Nur texted and said, "Oh gosh, I would love to go to that one and have some fun." It does sound like a lot of fun. And it's been around for a long time, apparently. No one seems to know exactly how or when it started, but there are old photos from Chiang Mai from 1964 that show numerous people engaged in water battles in the Ping River. According to many elderly people, water fights have been taking place in various places in Thailand for about 60 or 70 years. In those days, here's the quote from one of the locals. They said, "Everyone played with water in the village, everyone knew each other, and there was a kind of kinship." That's a little bit different from today's battles, which can involve thousands of people, strangers, most of them, with high-powered water guns. So it's not exactly the way it started, apparently, but it's still something to be celebrated. Today, Songkran celebrations take place all over the country in pretty much every city or town or village. Some events are organized by local government bodies, while many hospitality businesses, including things like, like theme parks or hotels or restaurants and bars, they host their own themed parties as well. Some towns, they limit the water fights to just one day. So I guess if you're planning on making a trip, today or maybe tomorrow, depending on how long they go for, do some planning. I guess if the water fight is what you're looking for, make sure you check it out. Maybe the local government websites or local websites to find out the schedules for the water fights. Thailand's tourism authority, they've put together a list of celebrations taking place all over the country. But for those who want to engage in the cultural side, Bangkok is shaping out to be a top destination for Songkran travelers this year and probably next year and the year after that, as it is the capital of the city. Sounds like fun, don't you think? I mean, I've heard of something similar happening in Seoul around the Yonsei University street. It's not, I don't think it's a cultural festival. If anyone knows about this, please do text me and let me know. NotPD just looked it up. It's called the Water Bomb Festival. And in 2023, they did it in June from the 23rd to the 25th. And that sounds like it's a similar thing where people just kind of have a huge, massive water fight on that street leading from Shincheon Station all the way to the front of, almost all the way to the front of Yonsei University. Looking at the festival pictures from last year. Huge water fights. Everything is water related, and then they had some performances as well. So not exactly the same, but still a fun idea. And I think when it gains traction internationally, you know, the festival here in Korea or the festival in Thailand, when people know about it, it's just another reason for people to visit the country at that time of year. So it's great for tourism and it's great for the local economies. And it sounds like it's a ton of fun. I would definitely have some fun going to visit that. So maybe on my next visit to Thailand, I'll try to schedule it around the Songkran Festival. That is today's Me, Myself, and I. We'll have a break. And when we come back, we'll get into today's perfect playlist. Here is the Goo Goo Dolls' Beautiful Lie.
The place in my life, and you're such a beautiful lie. You're such a beautiful lie.
I was just looking up because I was curious on the list of springtime festivals. I didn't see any information on Canada. So I thought, do we do anything in Canada to celebrate spring? Because spring comes later, I think, in Canada than other places. But this is what I found. We have the Canadian Tulip Festival. It's in Ottawa and it happens in May, right? So a lot of the world's springtime celebrations are in April, but in April in Canada, it might still be snowing in some places. So we do everything in May, I guess. It's the Tulip Festival in Ottawa, and it celebrates the gifts of tulips from the Netherlands. So apparently, the Netherlands gives a gift of tulips to Ottawa, to Canada, every single year. That's kind of fun. And this is kind of fun, too. I didn't know this, but there is also the Vancouver Cherry Blossom Festival. And it's a whole month-long festival with exciting activities that honor the cherry blossoms. So that's a pretty cool thing. I didn't even know that Canada had cherry blossoms, never mind in Vancouver. So there you go. We do have our own springtime festivals as well. All right, it is time for Perfect Playlist, and that was the Goo Goo Dolls that you just listened to before with Beautiful Lie. And now let's find out what our theme is this week for Perfect Playlist. We're going to go with songs about April. April, the first thing you probably think of is something positive, right? April. It's a positive sounding word, I think. When we hear it, April, we feel good, don't we? It sounds nice. It's very euphonic. It kind of rolls off the tongue. April. So, songs about April are likely songs that will make you feel good, because April is the peak of spring in many parts of the world, and it's synonymous with spring flowers and new love and rain showers and all those romantic things. So let's see how we go. We'll start with Simon and Garfunkel, April Come She Will. This song debuted in 1966 on their most famous album. That was called Sounds of Silence. In true poetic fashion, the song mentions April and other months metaphorically. They seem to perfectly symbolize female emotions that change as gradually or abruptly as the seasons themselves. That is the message in the song from Simon and Garfunkel. After that, Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, April in Paris. You could have Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong read the back of a ramen package or sing it, and it would sound absolutely amazing. But in the lyrics to this beautiful song, April in Paris, the singer had seen what spring is like where she came from, and perhaps there's nothing special about it. It just comes and goes without much fanfare. But all that paled in comparison to spring in Paris. There, holiday tables are set under the trees, and we can imagine lovers taking their dates here, and the chestnut blossoms add to the charm of the season as well. All right, 2 songs about April. That will be our theme all week long in Perfect Playlist. Let's get started with these 2. Simon and Garfunkel, April Come She Will, and then Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, April in Paris. Oh, Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, April in Paris. Absolutely beautiful. I said to Napidi during that song, her voice is like liquid gold. It's just perfect, isn't it? And she sings, and then along comes, sounds like Cookie Monster singing together, but he's such an incredible talent, so unique in his singing voice. They are a perfect match for each other. If you ever want to buy an LP, a record for your record collection, I would recommend Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald, because on a record, it sounds even better than it does when you listen through like a digital version of their music together. Anyway, so good. So good. That'll do it for Steve Hatherly Reboot for this Monday afternoon. Thank you so much for being with me over the last couple of hours. Their music that's perfect for spring too. So what's one of your favorite springtime activities? Maybe my answer would be dusting off the old Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong record to listen to it again. That song reminded me to do that. Thanks for hanging out with me over the last couple of hours. Thanks to Casey for today's Need to Know. We had a fun time learning from Casey today as well. Thank you to you, as always, for your listenership and your participation. I've been your host, Steve Hatherly, and today we wrap it up with Andra Day, Probably. Enjoy that track. Have a great day today, and we'll reboot again tomorrow.